It is September 3rd, 2025, and Hurricane Kiko has rapidly intensified into a Category 4 storm and is expected to move close to the Hawaiian Islands as we go into the middle of next week. Hey everybody, Meteorologist Drew Davis alongside with you. We've got a no-hype forecast for you today when it comes to Kiko and other activity on the continental United States. Let's get right into it and show you the latest track from the National Hurricane Center out there. You can see again, Kiko is a Category 4 storm as of the 11 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center, and is expected to continue moving further westward throughout Thursday and Friday at that strength as a Category 4, potentially weakening to a Category 3 as it moves into the Central Pacific. The divider between the Eastern Pacific and Central Pacific is 140 degrees west longitude, and then weakening even further as we're going into Monday. There's a lot of uncertainty with the intensity of this system, especially as it gets closer to the island chain. You can see a Category 1 storm here in the latest track from the National Hurricane Center, and the Hawaiian Islands are not included in the cone of uncertainty from the National Hurricane Center just yet. Again, the main messaging is that there's a lot of uncertainty out there with Kiko, especially when it comes to the intensity closer to the island chain. Let's take a look at why that's happening. There's long-range weather models that are starting to agree on that northward turn, but still high variability when you get close to the state. Just taking a quick look over the next couple of days, this is going into Saturday and Sunday, you can see not a lot of spread and most of the models hinting at that northward turn. There's actually lower pressure that's developing north of the island chain that's coming in from the north, pulling this system further northward, and there's high uncertainty when you get close to the island chain. So it's still too early to determine exact impacts or landfall or where that could happen. You can see here there's a spread of roughly 300 miles just in the weather models. Again, this is going to continue to converge over the next couple of days, but that's why we have to keep watching it so closely. Just taking a quick look at the sea surface temperatures out there. This is the departure from normal, so you can see where the water's warmer than normal, that's in the red and pink, and the waters that's cooler than normal in the light blue out there. Just going forward, you can see Kiko, Category 4, still moving out of warmer waters into the cooler than normal cool patch in the Central Pacific. Starts to get to Category 3 as it's moving into those cooler waters, and then Category 1 by the time you get to Monday. Again, still a lot of uncertainty out there. Another thing that we're watching is that movement north. How north is Kiko going to move? And it's all because of the pressure in the upper atmosphere. You can see up here in the blue and orange, or the blue and pink colors, that's lower pressure. This is a trough in the northern Pacific Ocean, and then we've got higher pressure right here. This high pressure system right here is actually one of the reasons we're seeing the trade winds right now. A little bit breezy out there across the Hawaiian Islands today, but you can see as we're going forward, this little blue patch right here is what we're going to call a cutoff low. It is going to start moving southward and actually towards the Hawaiian Islands. You got a low pressure system right here, and again, hurricanes, tropical storms, typhoons, all of those tropical systems that you think of, they are low pressure systems, and they move towards lower pressure. They're steered away from higher pressure and towards lower pressure. So you can see Kiko right here in the weather model, and that cutoff low developing is going to pull Kiko further northward. So again, we're going to have to watch how that evolves, how that low, that weak cutoff low that we're seeing evolves over the next couple of days, because it's going to be very crucial in the direction that Kiko moves. Just taking a look at some of the temperatures out there for Kiko. Again, right where Kiko is, it's very warm water. Temperatures around 82 degrees, 81 degrees, conducive for hurricane development. But as it continues moving off towards the west and northwest, it's going to be moving into much cooler waters. The further north track brings it into much cooler waters. Temperatures out there right now on the northward part of the track around 76 degrees, moving into areas just east of the island chain, 78, 76, really not conducive for hurricane development out there. Just taking a look at one of the weather models, I don't want you to put any stock into this. This is one model. This is the European model, which has been pretty consistent on bringing the storm further southward towards the Big Island. You can see as we're going into Tuesday afternoon, lots of heavy rain for the Big Island, and excuse me, and then the rest of the rainfall is actually to the southwest of the rest of the island chain. You can see not as much rainfall from Maui County, Oahu, and Kauai going forward. That's just one of these models. You can see some of the other models actually bring a lot more rainfall for the rest of the island chain. Kiko is actually going to be moving into an area that doesn't have a bunch of wind shear out there. These areas in the black are actually much more favorable for wind shear as Kiko continues moving off towards the west and northwest. But as it gets into the closer area to the island chain, to Hawaii, you are going to be seeing a lot of unfavorable wind shear. If you don't know what wind shear is, that's just strong winds high up in the atmosphere, and low winds, or some weaker winds. It's the difference between winds high up in the atmosphere and winds in the surface or closer to the surface, and those strong winds can tear tropical systems apart. So it's going to be meeting a lot of those strong upper level winds as we go forward into this upcoming weekend as it gets closer to us. Hurricane Kiko, again, out there is a Category 4 storm. Going to continue moving off towards the west and northwest. Category 3, Category 2 by the time we get to Monday, and Category 1 by Monday evening. Outside of that, we're watching Hurricane Lorena out in the eastern Pacific Ocean. This is a Category 1 storm that's actually going to bring a lot of rainfall for the desert southwest. You can see it gets a tropical storm as it makes landfall in California and then falls apart, but brings a lot of moisture over towards the desert southwest and even parts of Texas. So New Mexico and Arizona are going to be seeing a lot of rainfall from the system as that tropical moisture moves in. Even some flood watches are up for parts of Arizona. You can see we do have another area that the National Hurricane Center is watching. They're monitoring the Atlantic out there. This area right here in the red is the next tropical system out in the Atlantic. You can see just a slow burn. We might have a tropical depression form by the time we get to this weekend. It's going to be a very slow burn with this storm. Some models really don't even see it really get its act together until the beginning of next week. And you can see here it is, that tropical wave that the National Hurricane Center is watching. Really disorganized out there. Nothing too crazy. This is one model of many. Do not take any stock to this, but you can see as we're going forward into Friday, Saturday, that tropical depression, potentially tropical storm, starting to get its act together. But really, I don't want to show you any further than this because it varies too much going forward. Of course, we're watching the Bermuda high out here, high pressure right here, continuing to drive that system out towards the west, really keeping it further south as it continues to move. But again, we are going to be watching how this low pressure, this trough that's actually bringing in some cooler weather towards the north and northeast develops, and how this high pressure system could steer this system away and back out, making it a storm for the fishies out there. Again, this is the Climate Prediction Center's outlook for September 8th through September 12th. Below average temperatures are expected out there because of that trough that we were just taking a look at, bringing cooler weather out there for the northeast. Again, if this were happening during the winter, the weather out there would be really cold Arctic air coming in from Canada and up from the north. So cooler weather is expected for the northeast, and then also above average temperatures expected for the desert southwest and parts of the northwest. You can see even that mid-latitude cyclone starting to develop, this cold front that we've been talking about over the past couple of days, really bringing cooler weather out there. You can draw it out. That is just textbook right there, and it's going to continue moving off towards the east and northeast over the next couple of days. It's really cool to see the counterclockwise rotation here. You can really just see the low pressure there. Again, there's the trough that's continuing to dig in over the next couple of days, really not bringing too much of an impact for the in terms of temperatures. It's going to be a little bit cooler out there, cooler than average for this time of year. You can even see the rain as the system there again. Once again, there's the cold front moving across the northeast and the Midwest, continuing to push in. Another round expected as you're going into Friday of next week. So going into Friday of this week and going into the weekend. Outside of that, Kiko is the story. Category 4, potentially moving closer to the Hawaiian Islands as we go into the beginning of next week. That's it. That's all that we have today. We're going to be watching Kiko very closely and watching to see how that system out in the Atlantic develops going forward. Make sure to like and subscribe. We do a weather update here every weekday. I'll see you tomorrow, weather permitting. This has been Meteorologist Drew Davis.